मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः. Now, to practice what previously Bhagavan has told, to dedicate all the actions unto Him. How do I do that? Because while I am in action, at that time I am very extroverted. And I really forget about the divine and God and all, unless I face with some trouble. So of course meditation is very important, and because of which before the 12th, much before the 12th chapter, in the 6th chapter itself Bhagavan has explained about meditation. So when we look into these shlokas of the 12th chapter, we understand that in fact Bhagavan is elaborately, intensely again explaining the importance and the way of meditation only. Let us observe this particular shloka and we will find the same. Mai eva mana adhatsva mai buddhim niveshaya. Fix your mind on me only. Place your intellect in me. Then thereafter you shall no doubt live in me alone. So what does it mean basically? Is it not meditation? What do we do in meditation? We try to fix our mind on the Supreme. If we are not trying to do that, then we are not meditating. We are trying to shut our eyes away from facing the world. That is escapism. It is not meditation. Meditation is a state of mind where the mind is absolutely tranquil because of intense faith in the Supreme. So the intensity of faith has to find firm foundation in the practice of meditation. But how can one do that if one is not harnessing the mind in the right direction? You have to harness it, you have to channelize it, you have to harmonize it, then only you will find meditative state. If the mind is not meditative on the Supreme, how can one invest the intellect in the divine? Now, what is the use of investing our intellectual ability or faculty in the divine? What is the reason? Because when we do not use our intellectual ability in learning and understanding about the Supreme or the divine, then our intellect will not accept what the mind wants to do. The mind wants to revel devotedly in the divine thoughts. But the intellect is not accepting it and in fact is running away from it, trying to run away from it. Why? Because of lack of knowledge. We have all the knowledge of the world. In whatever field we were interested, we have put our intellect. From wherever I can earn, I have put my intellect. From wherever I can gather people around me, I have put my intellect into it. To earn name, fame, power, position, money, I have put my intellectual ability in that. What about this devotional and divine aspect of our life? For that, I don't want to use my intellect. Mai buddhim niveshaya. Bhagavan has very clearly stated in the Bhagavad Geeta that until and unless you use your intellectual ability also in the same direction, how will you calm down? How will you face the challenges of life? How will you come out of your conditionings? You won't know the technique. You won't know the reason, you won't know the purpose of worship. You won't know what upasana means, what is meditation. You won't know until and unless you try to learn about it. And learning includes understanding. And once you understand, then definitely you will implement it in life. If you don't understand, you won't implement. And then day after day, at times you will be devoted, at times you will be indifferent to it, and nothing will happen. Nothing good will happen. And the world is not a bed of roses, so you will face difficulties in life. And at the time of difficulties, suddenly you would like to believe in God, about whom you don't know. So what sort of faith will it be? At the time of crisis, you will run to a temple and you know nothing about it. You don't know the philosophy behind it. The reason, you see, the psychological treatment has to be supported with intellectual ability. Nowadays, we are focusing much on our physiology, not even on psychology. We have to focus equally on psychology along with our intellectual ability and taking us to spirituality. All the four are important and there should be integrated treatment. And because of which the Shastras, the Vedanta philosophy, has explained it very beautifully. We can see through the Bhagavad Gita itself that how step by step Bhagavan is taking us towards our inner core. Now withdraw your mind, Bhagavan says, from all the directions and focus on me, Bhagavan says. Mayeva mana adhatsva. Firmly establish your mind unto me. You should be so particular of withdrawing your mind from all the negative thoughts and worldly rut and focus it on the Supreme. How will you do it? Nobody else can help you in this because mind is subtle and it's yours. So you have to manage it. You have to have the reins of your mind in your hand. The mind will send signals to the senses to run around in the world. So you have to have the reins of your mind in your hands. But here we are happily letting the mind run into the worldliness, and then when we face troubles of all kinds, then we are in calamity. This is not modernization, this is not technology, this is not advancement, this is not progress of human life. The progress of human life can be adjudged only on the basis of peace and harmony in the society, human society. Right? And human qualities alone can qualify me as a human being, not otherwise. And how will I find my human qualities if I am not introverted? If I am running around materialism, how am I ever to find out the quality inherent in me, which is actually disturbing me? So therefore it is important, Mai eva mana adhatsva. Bhagavan has clearly stated, fix your mind on the Supreme, me the Supreme. Me the Supreme is your own divine self. Bhagavan has already explained about it. That itself is uplifting. We uplift our mind by focusing on our own divinity. Mai buddhim niveshaya. Once the mind is capable enough to be steady in the divine thought, at that time I must invest my intellect in understanding what it is all about. I should be sufficiently interested in reading the scriptures, on listening to the discourses, which are explaining about the scriptures alone. Not the etiquette and the behavior that I have to improve upon. We don't have to take those in from the scriptures. That should be inherent in our cultural education. The culture should culture me sufficiently that I am compatible to the rest of the world, and that should be the taming of the mind, and that should have been done long time back. I should be sufficiently good to uplift myself at the intellectual level with a calm mind. I should not be a rowdy person who is screaming and shouting and fighting with left and right everybody and misbehaving in the society. I cannot be called a devotee if I am so. A devotee of God is not expected to be such a negative personality. Right? So, when Bhagavan says, Mani buddhim niveshayas, then one can understand that what could be the quality of the mind of that person whom Bhagavan is instructing, that now you try to understand who the Supreme is. What is this divinity? How is it all pervasive? It's not sufficient to talk about its pervasiveness. It has to be inculcated in our character, in and out. Nivasishyasi mayeva. Under the circumstances, if it so happens, then you will find yourself to be me, in me alone. So, when I say, or when anybody says, coming from any religion in the world, if the person says, or the devotee says, that God is all pervasive, then one can understand that if I have to be in Him, then I have to be equally pervasive. I cannot be conditioned. I cannot be conditioned at my thought level, at the level of my understanding. My heart should be open. It should be infinitely compassionate and kind, accepting all as it is. Right? And with full understanding of worthlessness of worldly pleasures. Then alone it is possible. For which one has to tame oneself. And the taming cannot begin from somewhere in the middle of our life. And for which our scriptures have prescribed certain cultural, religious and spiritual education right from childhood. Who can be the first teacher of a child? Not the school, it is the parents. So it was in our tradition. In the families, it was the tradition to observe certain auspicious days in a particular manner, methodically, as per the scriptural injunctions, so that the children are introduced to religion and spirituality based on culture. This is how we used to be cultured in our families. And then, as the child grows up to youth and adolescent, he knows how to handle life by then. By the age of 15, he is matured enough to understand the intricacies of life and how to handle it. And he is not running after materialism. He uses the material world with full understanding that it is transient. And therefore, for him to find focus on the supreme reality wouldn't have been difficult. So Arjuna is in the battlefield. It's a matter of a few seconds that he has to recollect his thought process that he would have learnt in his childhood, in the Gurukula. So certain instructions are sufficient for him. Withdraw yourself from this attachment to your people. Be steady, calm down. Use your intellectual understanding of this scene of battle and go ahead, Bhagavan would have said. All are in me. Bhagavan has already explained how all are in the Supreme. in the previous chapter itself, in the 11th chapter itself. So how beautifully Bhagavan is taking us to steady devotion. It's not flickering, it's not wavering, it's unswerving faith. Nivasishyasi mayeva ata urdhvam. Thereafter, na sanchayah. Bhagavan says doubtlessly. No, Bhagavan is doubtless, but we will still have a doubt. How can that happen? How can I fix my mind? How can I be in the Supreme? This is not possible. Bhagavan knows our types, because Arjuna's expressions are also sometimes, going down. So Bhagavan uplifts him again. Oh, if you are unable to do so, I'll give you another thought. Bhagavan gives options. All the options will lead us to the same center point of focus, which we have to find. If we are human beings, we must find the focus of our mind in the Supreme Divinity. This is one target one must have in life. Before dying, O Lord, let me fix my mind unto you. Take that vow. No, we will take some different vows. I won't eat sabudana for 1 year. Eat sabudana. How does it matter whether you eat sabudana or this, whatever? Nowadays, many types of danas are very healthy, all sort of this bite and that and nutrition, full of nutrition. We know what is nutrition. Eat your food, traditional food, be merry, but don't forget to focus your mind on the Supreme. Why pay so much of attention to food after all? Our food is balanced diet. Eat. Nothing will happen, and even if it happens, anyway it is going to happen. Don't bother much about it. But if I don't work upon my mind, then the body, anyway I'll have to leave here. What about the mind? One life wasted, not found focus on God. What have I done in life? What have I achieved in life? After all, that should be the thought. Nivasishyasi mayeva. This sounds very encouraging. You will find me. You see, we invest, invest word, investing, investment, investor, these words are very common. But what do we invest is our wealth. Our true wealth is our intellectual faculty. We are human beings. Where have we invested that? This material wealth is of no use without the support of culture, without the support of humanity. We are playing with life of ours and others also. Ravana, we are Ravanas, 10-headed Ravana. So, this intellect is our wealth and we have to invest it wisely. When we have our wealth in our hand, this dhana, what is that? Money. Then we are very particular of investing. We'll find the best place to invest it and all. Intellect, the most precious wealth that we have, we invest anyway. Somebody sends a WhatsApp, some stupid thing, and I want to invest my intellect in that to understand what is written over there. My God. And if I don't understand, I ask another one. Do you think that this talks some sense? It doesn't make any sense. Then why am I reading it? Why am I interested in investing my intellect so wastefully? I wouldn't have wasted my 1 rupee in the hand to give it away to a poor man. That will be, it's a waste. And here I am wasting my intellectual capacity left and right. I am not bothered about that. That was more precious, most precious as a human being. Animals don't have it. I have it. Mai buddhim niveshaya, Bhagavan says, invest it in me. If you invest your intellect in me, Bhagavan says, then automatically you will get all material achievements, doubtlessly. Oho, nivasishyasi mayeva, you will be unto me. What is there outside the Supreme that won't be achieved by this person? Everything will be achieved by him. It's a complete gain. But if you are unable to do so, if you are unable to gather your mind and focus it on the Supreme, then what would you have to do? There won't be even one among thousands nowadays in today's world who will be able to focus the mind on the Supreme. That kind of disintegrated personalities we have in the world. In minutes and seconds, we lose our mind. Even while doing puja, while doing japa, while doing the practice of meditation, our mind gets disturbed and disintegrated. Leave aside those upasanas and etc. Even while talking to somebody, the human being loses control on mind. Completely disintegrated. What a shame on human society. So Bhagavan says, if you are unable to do what I have told you, because this is a very subtle and high level sadhana for today's human beings. Otherwise it sounds very simple. Any person who regularly meditates in a genuine manner with understanding and all, how Bhagavan has already explained in the 6th chapter, that way, then definitely it would have been easy for that person to understand what Bhagavan is saying in this shloka, but not necessarily for everybody. So let us see if there is a way out, an easier way out. See, we have this mind, individual mind, right? This individual mind has to connect with the total mind. Nivasishyasi mayeva. I have to decondition my mind by remaining into this I-ness and my-ness, and then I have to connect with the total mind. Total mind is Hiranyagarbha. If I can connect with the Hiranyagarbha, then what will be my capacity is somewhat like this, that I have a bank account in a particular bank. So I'll have, even if I have unlimited amount of money, yet the bank in fact will have more money than my money, right? Because I'm not the only customer of that bank. But if I am owning that bank and all the customers oblige me with their money, then how much money will I have? Will be far more than my own account. So this tejas of mind is that mind which is conditioned as an individual mind. And Hiranyagarbha is that mind which is the total mind. So if I can connect with the total mind, my capacity won't be curtailed. In fact, it will multiply infinitely. So where is the shortcoming? Where is the loss? There is no loss. So to drive in that thought, I can go into the past ways of our Bharatiya culture, where we had undivided families. And in those undivided families, there were some 5, 7, 12 brothers, siblings. And all used to go and earn. It could be one family business or, many. And somebody is a lawyer and somebody is a doctor, it can be. And then 5 brothers are handling the business. And the 6th one is a doctor and the 7th is a lawyer. It can happen. And one is a teacher also. The first one is the teacher. It can happen. Now, the teacher has not married because he saw some 11, 12 siblings after him. So he said, okay, I'll take care of everybody. By then the parents had gone old and all that. So the teacher has no family, he's single. Then one brother has got some 5, 6 kids and the other one has got 2 and another one is married but has no children. All sort of combination was there. But there was one thing very important. There was a unity which was uniting everybody. And that unity used to be such great that if the teacher is bringing some meager amount and if the doctor is bringing some large amount and the business is flourishing leaps and bounds, all the money used to come into one place. And then it was being spent also from that one source and everybody used to live the same standard of life. Not that the doctor is having a palatial house and the poor teacher is living still in that small little kutia. It never used to happen that way. That itself shows the large-heartedness that one has to inculcate even as a unit. If today you are all living as individual units, you must have that large-heartedness. Otherwise, to think about this kind of scripture, which sounds very simple as Bhagavad Geeta, as though the whole world knows about the Bhagavad Geeta. What the Bhagavad Geeta is saying is very simple, that you are not even able to live as a unit with large-heartedness, with 2 people and 4 people here. And what to talk about connecting your individual mind with the Hiranyagarbha? What sort of meditation is going on in the world, I can't understand. Because more the people are meditating, more self-centered we are becoming. Where is that large-heartedness? Where is that unity? Where is that harmony in the society? Where is that humanity in the society? If thousands are meditating, thousands are doing yoga, thousands are practicing so many kinds of different so-called religion and spirituality, then the human society would have been very harmonious, free from all troubles. That's not happening. And if maximum people are doing so, then 1 or 2 negative people wouldn't have harmed so badly. So that means we have to introspect, that we are not practicing religion and spirituality in the true sense, the right way. So we are learning it in a better way. So we can go back to our past ways of life, that integrated households, one source of spending, be them children or old or those who have family or those who do not have family and whatever. One is doing nothing. In such families, there will be always one person who does nothing. He just goes around. In fact, sometimes he is harming others' family also. And yet, he is also sitting along with everybody to eat. He's also got a room. He also has got clothes, shelter, everything. Okay. All in one. Good, no problem. We have to, in fact, embrace the whole world. Right? This is devotion.